Hi guys, welcome to Happy Visas. My name is Philip Port and I've been asked a question. Is it true? Is the Western propaganda machine telling the truth when it says a lot of Russians left Russia? Is that the actual case? Well, yes it is. Especially a couple of years ago in the beginning of mobilization, which we don't have anymore, but we did a couple of years ago. A lot of people did leave Russia. But what the Western propaganda machine forgets to tell you, according to mobile phone records, more than 90% of people who left Russia actually returned. And also those that left maybe 5 or 6 years ago, before the shit hit the fan, let's say a long time before then, they're starting to return. They got tired of Black Lives Matters, transgenders, discriminated against because there were Russians living in Europe, the Russophobia. Yeah, so they got tired of that. They got tired that the education system wasn't very good for their kids. They started to understand that grass is not always greener on the other side. So what the Western propaganda machine forget to tell you is, number one, those that left have mainly returned, and on top of that, a lot of people who sought paradise in Europe or America are starting to realize that high crime rates, a low education system, they're better off in Russia, especially Moscow. As I've said before, best city in the world is Moscow. And they don't need mobilization anymore. Soldiers get about $65,000 a year. The tax is very low. I think it's 15%. So the soldiers are extremely well paid. That's created a little bit of inflation, which is obviously not very good. So there's no need whatsoever for mobilization. And if the Russians are still concerned, that there might be a mobilization, they just live 6 months out of the country. You're ineligible if you live more than 6 months out of Russia, or you live in Russia less than 6 months of the year. You're ineligible for mobilization anyway. So a lot of people just go to Thailand, live in Thailand, and and a lot of them sold their property. A lot of them realized they made a big mistake. There was a big drop from, I'd say about 15% drop in property prices, because everybody was selling their houses a couple of years ago on the cheap to finance their trips to Thailand or to Europe. And then when they all came back, they had to buy flats again, or they had to rent accommodation. So I think a lot of Russians regretted leaving. That's my take on it. I could be wrong on that. The Russian government also realised, it's better to pay high salaries to professional soldiers, because if your citizens leave, and Russia has a demographic problem, if your citizens leave, that's going to be a disaster for the economy. So I don't think there will be any more mobilization. The Russian government have said many times they don't need to mobilize troops. They've got, more people than they need. I remember a friend of mine, he was not mobilized, he was called in for an interview into the army. He went there, they said, do you want to join the army? He said no, and he said, okay, go home. So they gave him the choice. That was one of my students. I was teaching him English. So that's the actual situation. That there is no recruitment problems. Soldiers are paid very well, and all the Russians that left, according to mobile data, have returned. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you.